Good morning. Welcome to Fortune Cookies, January 2nd. Some exciting news. So, apparently, there is a particular piece of real estate possibly going back on the market. Um, Possibly because it just didn't suit two particular people or perhaps one particular person. Couldn't let this one go by without doing a reading. So, um, again, welcome to Fortune Cookies. Everybody that participated in the Tarot Zone Marathon, thank you so much. It was so much fun. The live readings last night were really great. I read for a whole bunch of you. So if you want to see more of that, if you want me to do like a weekly or bi-monthly live reading, for you all, I can do short readings. I mean, I did actually pretty heavy readings. I was on for 3 hours plus, but I was pretty wonky after that. It takes a lot out of you when you do reading after reading after reading. But I've been there, done that. It's just really important to like ground yourself and get yourself sorted out after. Felt a little bit weird last night, but got myself together after I took a shower. So we're going to ask some questions. First of all, we're going to ask if it's legit. Are they really, is the house really going up for sale? But I also want to know if they actually own the house, if there's actually, I believe someone posted that there was a mortgage on the house, but I want to see if they actually do own the house, or have a loan on the house themselves. I want to see what the reason for the sale is. Is it the neighbors are one thing that we're hearing? Financials are probably another thing that we're hearing. But I'm throwing into the mix if it's a lack of support for the political campaign. That just seems like, it's almost like, cut and run, tail between your legs, if that's the case. So I want to see if they're going to stay in California. There were some rumblings about New York. Not that New York is any cheaper than California, but the social, cultural, for the past 2 years, climate is pretty much the same. Or if they're even going to stay in America. So that's another question that I want to see, if they're actually going to stay here in the United States. Bonus reading, and I've never done this on the site, but I've done readings on it privately. I want to see if there's a secret business plan for Harry that the royal family has put into place. I have my own opinion about it, and we'll uncover that as we get to the reading. So we're probably going to be here for a while, but it's Sunday, so grab yourself a coffee or a Bloody Mary or a glass of orange juice, or get on the treadmill with your headphones in. It is January 1st, time to get that bikini body ready. Clearly, I am super dressed up today in my sweatshirt, but I do have my new earrings on. These are Christmas earrings that I got, and I'm wearing my glasses, and my hair looks like a crazy person. So let's get started. I am going to flip the screen, and again, thank you everybody for watching and subscribing. This is a lot of fun for me. I've been doing this for a long time, but I haven't been doing it in a platform like this for very long, so really appreciate all of you here. I'm going to do lots of cool stuff for 2022. All right, so I'm going to switch screen. All right. So I don't know if y'all could see. I've got a couple of decks here, and I got a million decks over to the left of me, over that way. We're pulling out all the big guns. I got pendulum is out, our selenite is out. We always need that. And I've got incense burning galore. So those of you that follow me know that I'm in the process of building a magic shack out in my yard for all of my craziness, for my day job, and for my tarot business, and just some things held us up on the construction. So it's up. I just need to outfit it and do the finishing on the inside. My husband and I have opposite schedules. So now that it's a new year, I'm going to take some time off and hopefully get the inside of it fitted out, get my electric in there, and find the perfect chandelier. I'm a huge fan of chandeliers. So, speaking of chandeliers, fancy stuff in your house, let's talk about the Montecito mansion. So, the first thing we're going to take a look at, let's see if they're putting it up for sale. So, we'll do, what I'd like to do is look at the mansion itself. And I'm just going to move Mr. Elephant out of the way a little bit. Oh, those of you that I have these clarifier coins, we're probably going to use those too. And we'll just open up the little pouch. I've got runes in there as well. My book of runes. This book is so old. And I lost the runes somewhere along the way, so I had to order a new bag. So here we go. We're going to look at the house itself as if it's an entity. So I apologize. I meant to write down the builder, the guy, he was an IT dude, and he was the one that built it. And the house is like eco-friendly. It's like a smart house, and if you didn't look at the pictures when it was first listed, holy moly! It was listed by the Russian oligarch. I think that's how he's characterized. I believe his name is Sergey. So there's some bad vibe on the house because of that guy. But the dude who built it, the dude who I don't want to say commissioned, but who actually designed and built the house, it seemed like a pretty up and up guy. The house was sold to the Russian dude for a serious number, but then was listed for a number, but there was an offer by Harry and Meghan. Like, who knows? It's such a convoluted story. I mean, it is a private sale. Like, nobody wants to know, but I know all the houses that I've sold. Like, you could look up my tax records. You could look up, all that stuff. You can do that to anybody. Unfortunately, but so let's take a look at the house as an entity first. Let's get a good vibe on the house and just see if there's like some bad juju going on there. I firmly believe that things will absorb energy. So if there's like some bad vibe going on in a place, you do have to kind of get it out. If I ever have a fight with my husband, with the Tibetan singing bell and incense, I burn incense all the time. But, when people come to my house, it's a very warm and comfortable environment. Purposely by design, I do that. In one of my other videos, I did say that, with the protective circle that I create for doing readings, I believe that I disrupted the GPS on our house, and it's a little tricky to find when you drive here. So I didn't do that on purpose, but it kind of happened after we moved in. We'd give people our address, and they would have a lot of trouble getting here. So still, I give street the cross sections of the street, and they seem to be able to get there that way. I mean, even people who've been here before sometimes have trouble getting here. So it is what it is. But nonetheless, so I'm very, very careful about the protection that I put in place while doing any of my divination work, and for the sake of myself and my neighbors. We have really good neighbors, so I like to keep everybody comfy, cozy, and really nice here. So let's take a look at that house in Montecito. It's a young house. It has a very, very young energy, but let's get the sense of the house, how the house is feeling itself. And if you don't buy into this stuff, just bear with me. We're going to get to more on it in a minute. So the house is a good place, okay? The house itself. Now, I know there's some talk about Native American waters being diverted on the property, and that there's some question about that. The house itself has a very pure, good spirit, but it's trying to get back to that. It's very nostalgic for the original family that lived there. Very, that was, the intent when the house was built was very, very good. It is a great environment. I'm going to say that it was nobly built. The conflict is the now. There, and I'm getting something in the sense of neglect. That there's, I'm going to say it, there's not enough money in the pot to maintain this house the way it needs to be maintained. I feel the weeds are growing. I know that sounds weird, but like it's not in California. The weeds aren't growing, but it's like the sand is encroaching. It's like the sprinklers are off. Like the house can't be maintained the way that it needs to be maintained. There are things that need to be done, and it feels not like it's falling apart, like things are falling apart, but it could in the future. Realization is there. It's almost like the house is gently the people that are in it now, they're guests. They're really not invested in that house. They're really not like quote unquote the owners of the house. They're just there for a bit. I don't get the sense that they're really really well rooted there. They're just visiting. It's almost like an Airbnb. I know it sounds crazy, but it's like an Airbnb. Like they're just kind of there and very surface. They're not their heart is not in the house. So what does the house want? What does the house want? Whoa, we're gonna take that. The house wants things to get moving. The house wants things to get moving. They want, it's disappointed. They need someone who's more in control, and they want someone who's going to love the house. They want someone who can afford it. They want someone who's going to love it. There's no emotion in this from either of them. They're not invested in this house at all emotionally. It's like a vacation home. That's really, it's like a home that they rented for vacation. Let's see this. Let's see. Do they own this house? Do they own it? Do they have a mortgage on this house? Do they have a mortgage? Yeah, actually, what is the business relationship with this house? Whoa, sloppy shuffle. I haven't done a sloppy shuffle all year. That was the first sloppy shuffle of the year, I think. Sloppy shuffle fortune cookies. Welcome to my channel. And again, this is for entertainment purposes only. I'm just reading cards. We're just having some fun. January 2nd. What is Harry and Meghan's business relationship with the house? What is the business relationship? Now, if we get Pentacles, I think it's going to be more of a formalized relationship with the house. But if we see Swords, I think it's going to be more of a renter situation. So let's see what we got. We got Cups, of course. Why wouldn't we? So I don't think that they have a mortgage in the traditional sense. I think that there's a great deal of money that was put down on the house, but moving forward, they just don't have the funds to sustain it. I'm not getting the sense that it's that they can't pay the mortgage. It's more of they can't withstand the additional expenses. Those of you that have followed me, my parents do live in a historic home. It's a sizable home. It's on a sizable property. And my father says when he gets a leaky faucet, it costs $20,000. So, when you have a home of means like that, you can't look at it as the mortgage and the insurance. You have to look at it in the respect of, there are full-time groundskeepers with a staff. There are full-time housekeepers with a staff. There are full-time techs for the IT with a staff. You're paying for all of that. That is your overhead every month. It's not just you're going to pay X amount of dollars for the mortgage and X amount of dollars for the insurance, and it's going to come out of this account and tra la 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 la. That's not even including the surprises. So the house that I bought in California, I had a place in Eagle Rock with my ex-husband, and that was one of the things that we bought this amazing place. It was we got a great deal on it. We had views of the city. We had city lights, and it really was like the first home the two of us had ever bought. We were young, and we had a problem with the air conditioner. Now we were like in high desert there, so like my backyard would get to like 118 degrees, and being from the East Coast, I was like, I need air conditioning. So when I had the air conditioning fixed, because it was on the roof and it was like this whole thing, it was completely foreign to me. Cost a small fortune, and it wasn't something that I expected. Right out of the gate. So, likewise, when my current and permanent husband and I bought our house now, we were much older and we were all set up. But first night we, hung out and actually watched a movie. Our puppy, she was a puppy at the time, got a hold of a bottle of Gorilla Glue and ate it. And we wound up in the vet. And, that cost us like a cool $4,000 to save her life. So, it's like the incidental costs were mounting, but the emergency costs are not. There's no cushion for emergency costs. I'm getting the sense that the cushion is gone. So let's take a look and see. Let's see if this is a short sale. And we're going to do like traditional Celtic cross on this. Is this the short sale? This is short sale. We're going to look at the house. So we're trying to get out as quickly as possible. Now, short sale does suggest that they're not able to pay. There's that 5 of swords that jumped out there. But let's see. Short sale. Are we talking about a short sale? Or are we talking about a short sale? Oh, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here we go. Okay. So we've got that gaslighting card right in the middle. We've got, illusions and mystery. We can move these up. So we've got illusions and mystery, creating a different story. And who is doing that? That's our Queen of Wands. Our Queen of Wands is creating a story. Are they broke? Let me get a card. Let me get one card to see if they're broke. That one jumped out. Yes. It's not that they're broke. It's that they're not able to sustain what's going on. They're not. They thought there was going to be a lot more coming, and they thought that river was going to be flowing. So it was a place of refuge and healing. They really did think that this was going to be a permanent home. They thought they were going to stay there. I'm getting a vagabond spirit here in the future. So with this vagabond spirit, bear with me, I am not a city person. I don't love New York City. Even when I moved out in California, all the people that I knew were like, oh, did you go into New York all the time? No, not really. It's not my thing. Being an empath, being very sensitive to the energy, it's really hard for me to go into the city because I really do get ambushed by all the energy around me, and I don't like it. I like, a quieter, more natural environment. I just do. I do very well by the ocean. I do very well in the mountains. Being a Cancer, I like to have some water around me. But the city for me always feels very transitory in terms of living. It feels like I'm going to have this apartment for this amount of time. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of the brownstones are extremely expensive, extremely beautiful. They are, one of my girlfriend's dads had one that was fantastic. It was absolutely gorgeous. But it just feels very transitory when you go to the city. The high rises feel like at any moment, you could go and you could do something else. And I apologize anybody that's a city dweller that loves the, concrete and steel. God bless you. It's just not my thing. This is giving me the feeling of concrete and steel. I think they're going to head to New York. I think they're going to set up something in New York. It does not feel like London. It does not feel like England. It feels like they're headed for a city. I just and it's a tall city. It's not San Francisco. It's not anything like that. It's a tall city. I'm getting it. It's absolutely there. So, hang on, grabbing some water. Definitely feels like they are leaving California behind. One of the things that I found with people in California when I lived there is that they all think that New York is cheaper. Wrong. They also think that New Jersey is cheaper. Wrong. It's pretty much an even exchange, in my opinion. If you want to live in a certain at a certain level, there's a certain premium put on that, especially here in New Jersey, where we're paying a fortune in taxes. But that is that. So I think when I was younger, when I was in my 20s, before I moved to California, there was always that odd friend of mine. And don't get me wrong, like, I moved to California on a whim. I had some beers and chit chatted with a friend of mine who was out there in SF, and he was like, "Why don't you move out?" And I was like, "Sure, why don't I move out?" The next thing I knew, I was in my car with my dog and my cat driving out there. So, it was like a very quick move for me. But let's see, we're going to do three things. We're going to see the reason for the sale. We'll do neighbors, financial, and lack of support for her political career. I want to take a look at that too. Like, if she's tucking tail and running, to see if, and with the presumption that New York is the final destination. And again, I'm reading cards. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. I don't know. Just reading cards. After yesterday, I felt like the dad in Firestarter. Like I was going to have a bloody nose and a headache. No, it was good fun, though. It was good fun. I enjoyed it. I just had to do a little bit of self-care after. So we're going to look at neighbors, financials, or political career. So 1, 2, 3. 1. Let me move these up a little. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, so the neighbors, I don't think were a problem for him. I think Harry got along just fine with the neighbors. I think everything was fine. I think Miss Malco was a bit more aloof and came to the table with some airs, let's put it that way. And I've said this before in some of my other readings. She very much comes off like someone like nouveau riche, that being dissatisfied is synonymous with being discerning and high class. She comes off as that. And I think that's why she had some issues with the staff. I think she did not know how to behave with the staff. And when that was addressed, I think she came to the table with the attitude, well, this is how we do it in California. This is how we go. So much for equity, right, in treatment. The rest and recovery and the healing that was supposed to be done there was more drama that was brought into the equation than was necessary. He was pretty content there. He was like, all right, ride my bike. I'm sticking by this. I honestly think if he had a surfer shack by the sea, he'd be totally happy. Like drinking slushy fruit drinks and jumping in the water and wearing a lot of sunscreen because he's a ginger. I don't know. Is he technically a ginger? Does he have the freckles? I don't know. But I think, slushy, fruit shack by the sea would have been perfectly fine for him. I think he would have been perfectly happy there. I think stripping off the trappings would have been better for him psychologically. Again, for entertainment purposes only. This is just my opinion. I am just reading tarot cards. But I do think that she was the problem. And I think that she was trying to make the bullets and have him fire them, and that wasn't working. And I think a lot of people did not like her. I think he was much more likable when they got there, and I think she pulled it back. So was Harry chumming it up with the neighbors too much? Was he chumming it up with the neighbors too much? We got that one. So we'll throw that out. Looks like a yes. He was talking to them too much. She didn't like what he was saying to them. She thought it was going to create problems for them. She thought it was going to interfere with their PR, with the message they were putting out. And she didn't think that, she thought they were above that. They were above hanging out with them. And she wanted him to behave like he was better than everyone else. So that's what I got. That's what I got on that. So that is part of the equation. Now here we go into the financials. The financials, not looking good. They did not have what they needed to sustain this house. The house was bought almost like on speculation. I don't mean that in like the legit like real estate meaning. They bought the house based on what they thought their earning potential was going to be. They bought the house based on paper castles. They're things in the future that they really thought that they were going to manifest that wound up just being like a complete squib. It did not work. Did not work. So, deja vu. I said squib. That gave me a deja vu. That's always a curious thing when you're a psychic. So, deja vu. Let's see if they have to short sale. If they got to get out of there, are they more broke than we know? Are they more broke than we know? Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're asking all the wrong ways. In the future, partnership is what's going to help them, but those bridges are burned. Definitely, bridges are burned. So we're gonna go into another question after this. I'm just gonna write it down. Charles and William holding purse strings. We'll get back to that one. So the political career is the move partially because of the lack of political support. We're getting thin on this. It's getting thin. Part of the move, lack of political support. So, before we go there, yes. So the balance is off here. She doesn't understand why her benefits, her gifts are not being recognized. And she thinks that she will be better recognized, better received in New York, but this is all dreamy. This is all trying to make something happen. This is all trying to manifest, create a new incarnation. You know how Madonna like keeps like changing her personality, and she dyes her hair dark, and she wears bondage gear, and then she goes into like this whole religious thing, like through her whole career. Like that's what she's trying to do. She's trying to evolve into this political figure via the royal family, which like should have been like a hard stop. They should have just stopped. That's a huge part of the reason why they left, was because she wanted that platform. She wanted to be able to have her voice heard. Her voice. The message that she wanted to get out just wasn't resonating. Continues not to resonate, and this really is a dream. Moving to New York, this is going to be not a good thing. This is going to be disaster. It's not going to yield the results that she wants. So in the past, she remembers having everything that she wanted and being in that position. There's going to be some serious regret here. There is absolutely going to be serious regret, and she is going to blame everybody but herself, but the unlikability of her. This is how she sees herself. She sees herself complete, wonderful, full of love, effervescent, really likable, and it's almost like she wants to blame people like me that are doing readings on YouTube. People like Piers Morgan, what is it, Sky News in Australia, who, regularly has less than glowing reviews of her. She just is perpetuating this, like, it's a false narrative. It's a false narrative. No one knows the real me. No one. Oh God, please. I hope she doesn't do a series with like the real me, like the other one did. Oh, good Lord. I can't with the tapping and the eyes closed. I can't. The Jersey accent came out. I can't with it. My glass. Every time I talk like that, my glasses slide down on my nose. It's hilarious. So I'm like Janine Melnick. Isn't that her name from Ghostbusters? Ghostbusters, what do you want? Oh, I also play racquetball. So, if you like Ghostbusters, comment down below. New Ghostbusters was great, by the way. Anybody that wants to see it. It was really fantastic. I laughed, I cried, I screamed. So, political career here. Political career. Is it going to be a bust? Is it going to be a bust? Yeah, can't get it off the ground. Message is going to be bad. She's going to try and partner. I have a feeling she's going to try and partner with HRC. I think she's going to try and dig in there. I do think that there was an interest in and I did this in a prior reading. I think there was an interest in getting into the sack with Kamala, but that was shut down, and now the optics on her endeavors are not that great, so I don't think she'll get involved. So, yeah, she's not going to get this off the ground, and she's going to be angry about it. But, the writing's on the wall, gal. Once again, career advice. Go back to the TIG. Stop. Disappear for a little bit. Go back to the TIG. Go back to the blog. You'll be fine. You got to disappear for a little bit. How to Live Royally. Great blog. Royals by the Sea. How about that? We could have a little slushy drink shack by the sea. That is one of my dreams. If I ever win the lottery, y'all will be doing tarot readings from a little wooden shack by the sea, and I'll get back to surfing. Except I'm a little afraid of sharks. So it depends on where it is. Certainly not Australia. I don't like what they're doing there. In South Africa, those sharks are big and they jump out of the water, so I'm not doing that. Who knows? I just got a treehouse someplace. So all right. So that's really, what I see about that. And now I have a feeling that, for all the decks that I put out and prepped for this, I'm not using any. Sloppy shuffle. I'm not using any of them. So I want to see the reason for this sale. This is a big one. Did the purse strings get tightened up? Did Charles or William say, no more, we are not paying out? Those of you that saw my live last night, yesterday I did live readings for viewers. At the 2 hour and 40 minute point, I do a reading on Queen Elizabeth, which is It's quite disappointing for me. You know, I know, inevitability. But, you know, I think that there are some plans in place. And let's see if Daddy Warbucks, Prince Charles, has closed up the purse strings, has said, enough is enough. We gave you your time. Gave you enough time to get yourself on your feet, and now you're out ski. Let's see if this is the big financial bye-bye. That would have a tremendous effect on the house. We'll also ask if they were asked to repay something. Let's see if they were asked to repay something. Yes, something is moving quickly. We're going to do 5 cards here. Yeah, yeah. Purse strings. Tight. Guarding financials. Even though these are wands, I know they're not really financials, but this is guarding what you have built. Conflict, foundations. They're pulling the foundations out from them. This is what the family has wanted all along. They wanted them to have to do it on their own. So this is going to be a great segue into my final reading on what I think they are up to with the royal family, their business plan for Harry. So they're telling them, you know, we need to put an end to this quickly. You've had your time. There may have been an arrangement where they said, you know, you have X amount of time to do this. Do they have to repay for something? Do they have to repay Prince Charles? Is he expecting repayment? Yeah. Yeah. Woo! So I sounded like Ric Flair. Woo! So there was a loan that was given to them. They were given a loan, and that loan has to come back now. They got to pay that back. You know, all of us have done that. You know, my dad had given us a bridge loan at one point when we put an offer on the house because we were waiting on some funds to be removed, and we didn't want to lose the house, so we had actually asked him for a bridge loan. It created more problems than it solved because we wound up not needing it. But nonetheless, there is a loan that needs to be repaid, and he's telling them it's time to get on your feet. This is what you wanted. This is what you said you were going to do. It's time to get on your feet. So you're on your own. Go create. We know you really can't do it. There's our Page of Wands in reverse. No, you're really not capable, but this is what you wanted, so be it. You manifested this. That's really kind of the message here. You know, you wanted to run away from home, so run away from home. You know, it's not going to be received well. So, and, you know, it's interesting because Charles is making that declaration. I feel like the hourglass has run out with him in terms of patience. I feel like he is just annoyed at this point. You know, have mercy. I can't deal with this anymore. I can't. I know he stopped taking his calls at one point, but I feel like he's like, I can't deal with your drama anymore. And part of it is that he has his own drama. And I've always said this, Camilla is not in poor health, but she's not in the best of health. There's like some issues with her. And it's something like, you know, and I have a cousin that, you know, reads bodies very well. You know, I'll have to ask her if she thinks it's like torso stuff. I feel like there's something in her torso that is just not in the best of functioning order. So, you know, we'll have to see. So, you know, I just feel, and I think that that's going to be a huge component to him not taking the crown. I've done that in other readings, being the king for the day, king for a day. So let's see. Prince William, did Prince William close up those purse strings too? I think Prince William is making a lot more decisions over there. Prince William closed up those purse strings. Yes, but it's under wraps. He's keeping it under wraps. He's not letting anyone know. Revealing that he is making the decision maker is just not what they want to do at this point. They really do want to protect what's theirs, and at any cost. And it sounds cruel. I'm not trying to make him out to be cruel. It's kind of, you made your bed, now you got to lie in it. So this is interesting. This bereft card. This is salvaging the royal family finances, coffers, and reputation. There's some reputation here, but there's a lot of smoke and mirrors that we've got going on here. Not William is not going to be blamed for this. They are not letting Harry and Meghan know that William made the decision. They're letting them think that Charles made the decision exclusively. They're not going to show their hand on this. So I hit pause by mistake, and I'm not sure where I left off. But privately, and I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, privately I have done readings about Harry and the rescue plan that I think the royal family put into place for him. I think there was a plan A, marriage goes great. Plan B, the contingency plan goes into effect. I literally was pulling cards for like the last 10 minutes, so I hope this reading is going to coincide with that. Such a bummer. I hate when that happens. I just did not hit the button hard enough. So I believe that there was a contingency plan put in place to bankrupt Harry so that if the marriage did not, I think the contingency plan was put into place for when the marriage started to go bad. I think it was created prior to the wedding. I think it was created by a courtier who was someone in some kind of position of power, lawyer, accountant, something to that effect. And the plan was to bankrupt him. So if there is a divorce, or when there's a divorce, he will be bankrupt and there won't be much to split up. Again, this is for entertainment purposes only. Please like, share, and subscribe. So the bankruptcy plan, that the sale of this house, or the purported sale of this house, would play directly into that. I think the Queen was involved, but I don't think she was the final decision maker on it. I think that William was the final decision maker on it. So let's see what the cards say about my alleged, for entertainment purposes only, plan B for Prince Harry. So we're going to do storytelling. If the same cards come up, I'm going to flip. I'm going to flip, not just the cards. So, decisions had to be made. Hard decisions by Prince William. I'm doing it this way. Sorry about that. I got like a weird angle going here. So, hard decisions had to be made. Decisions for either the family and the legacy, and for his brother. They needed to create a pathway for him to escape, because given his own... He would not motivate himself to get out. So, yeah, I have said that I think he was part of the plan, but now, not so much. I'm thinking maybe he's not part of the plan here. Maybe he didn't know that they put this into place. Maybe that's why he's so miserable, because his level of luxury has changed. The family is in discord, but they do have the ability to make changes for him. They have the ability to save him. They know that he's in pain. They know that his message is a direct result of that. This is really a mental illness. And I don't want to say mental illness, but mental discord. Let's say mental discord card. That's mental discord, and the mouth is running. So, I just read this article about how like schizophrenics will do word salad. I'm not saying anyone's schizophrenic, but that word salad, and don't get me wrong, like tarot readers are all We sometimes do that because we're clairvoyant, and we're trying to, and I've got some incense burning here. We're clairvoyants, and we're trying to translate the messages that we see, and sometimes those messages are pictures and symbols that we do see in our head, or symbolic things that we see in our heads. Dream divisions, divination. The the message that's coming out of his mouth is part of this mental discord. It's like he's like a tea bag, and he's been steeped in this, not so good environment. So they know that. There's my card. There it is. They want to. This is my bankruptcy card. They really want him to lose everything. They want all those coins out of his pocket, because they don't want them to go to this false Queen of Cups. They do not want to see that happen. Correction, the false Queen of Cups. This is likely our Queen Elizabeth, putting this plan into place, tasking individuals with coming up with this contingency plan for him, this rescue plan. Very early on, I think she did see that there were troubles. The Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is now turning toward bad things. They're done fighting. They're tightening up the purse strings. The finances that are in place are circling the drain. They are at the point where the battlefield is clearing. And we're going to have Harry and Meghan standing in the middle of an empty battlefield with no spoils of war, nothing to show for it. And they're going to be like, well, wait, what happened? They're going to be left with nothing. This is fair. What's fair is fair. And they'll be left to review the seeds that they've sown. They'll be left to review what they did. And let's see. Things will be revealed about that Queen of Pentacles, that greedy, greedy lady that wanted all the pentacles. Things are going to come out. We're going to see the not so noble, the not so good things that... hang on, drink of water. Sorry, I because I'm in Cancer, I drink a lot of water during my readings to just keep myself in the flow, pardon the pun, but also to keep myself a little bit better grounded. They're going to be sorry. Those castles in the air did not work out. There's going to be a lot of sadness. And King of Cups, the Queen of Swords. So both of these, I'm getting the sense that they're representing William. And correction, this is representing William. This is representing Prince Charles. Prince Charles is delivering the news and saying, there's a very interesting tack that he is going to have. Wish I could be a fly on the wall. I can't hear the actual conversation that they have, but I am very in tune with the emotions of the conversation. And he's going to be, well, I'm sorry. This is exactly what you had asked for. I thought this was what you wanted. And William is the one that is going to be cutting. I know this Queen of Swords, but William is the one that's going to be cutting. He's the one that's going to say, listen, this is just how it's going to be. This is just how we're proceeding. So there we go. Prince of Wands, go ahead. Go do what you're going to do. Even though it's dumb, go do what you're going to do. That was really the nature of the exit. I'm not calling it what it was called in the newspapers. But the exit was done very, very foolishly. There were some ideas there to move forward, to do these things, but the reality is that the plan was very poorly wrought, and they acted rashly, too quickly. That the 10-minute warning of them announcing the exit was done very poorly. They should not have done that. And all the love is falling out. Oh, the shackles. The shackles of, oh, sorry about that. Why? We went fuzzy. The devil showed up and we went fuzzy. All the love is going to fall out. And Harry's going to have a decision to make. He's going to have a decision to make whether he is going to stay shackled. And I don't get the sense that that will be a good end for him, or if he's going to go along and play ball with the plan of rescue. Hopefully it will go a little bit better than recent rescue plans. Moving forward to better things. The impression that they're going to give him is you're going to move forward toward better things. Going back one step, I'm getting the sense that once the money is gone, once the money gets tight, not to quote Billy Joel, they started to fight with that. I think they've been fighting all along. You know, I think it's a passionate relationship. I think there is a lot of power struggle in there. I think she is disappointed that he is not as ambitious and not as aggressive, ambitiously aggressive, and that he is not more skilled in the smokescreen, the BS that is necessary for celebrity and California celebrity in particular. So I think she's going to become very cruel. I think there's going to be a level of cruelty that we see there, but good things will be in the future. He has to walk out the door. He's going to be handed the keys. I don't know if they're going to make him privy to it, but he's going to have to walk out the door himself. And there it is again, walking out the door himself so that he can look closer. They are going to let him know. Oh boy, that's a powerful pair right there. They're going to tell him, remember what it was like. Remember all the things that you had. Remember all the opportunity that you had. And immediately I am getting an impression of there's going to be some bartering going with the children. I'm getting that sense that there's going to be some back and forth with that. It's gonna get ugly. It's gonna get ugly, and she's gonna want it all over the papers. It's gonna take him a while to get back to that position. But they will eventually get him back into a position where he's in a bit more control and he can rebuild. So I think that was the end of the storytelling. This was a long reading. I'm starting to sweat. So I hope you enjoyed that. So let's see what happens over the next. And I had, for all these decks that I had out, I used the old standard. So go figure. I hope you're having a great Sunday before you all have to go back to work. Let's all start 2022 with some good thoughts. Hopefully these two will get their act together and stop acting like they're teenagers, because they're acting like they're teenagers. So I wish them all well. I hope everybody has a super 22. I don't want anybody to be fighting or, having a rough time, or especially when there's kids involved. I've been there myself, and nobody wants to do that. It's not fun. So happy Sunday. Go have a drink. Go get some fresh air. I'm going to go outside and stand in the mud for a little bit and ground myself. So thanks again for all the support. Like, share, and subscribe. I will talk to you all soon.